Today I want to talk about something you probably do every single morning, without thinking, without noticing. You wake up. You move around a little. Maybe you're already doing those gentle morning exercises we talked about. You feel good about that. And then you walk to the kitchen. And you do what you've done for the last 20, 30, maybe 40 years. You make your tea. Or your coffee. You hold that warm cup in both hands. You take that first sip. And something inside you just settles. It feels like the real start of the day. Not the waking up. Not the getting out of bed. But this quiet ritual. And that's exactly the problem. Because what feels warming on the outside is doing something very different on the inside. Here's something most people never think about. By the time you open your eyes in the morning, you are already mildly dehydrated. Why? Because for 7 or 8 hours, you haven't had a single drop of fluid. And your body was working the entire time, repairing cells, regulating temperature, processing the day. All of that requires water. So when you wake up, your body is already running low. And one of the first places dehydration shows up is in your blood. When you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker. More concentrated. It doesn't move as freely through your vessels. And when blood doesn't move freely, your circulation suffers. The system that delivers oxygen to your leg muscles. The system that keeps your lower body active and responsive. It slows down. And the place it slows down most? Your legs. Your feet. Because they're the farthest from your heart. Now imagine, in that already dehydrated state, the very first thing you give your body is coffee or tea. Caffeine is a diuretic. That means it pulls water out of your body. It increases urination. It accelerates the loss of the very fluid your body is already short of. So you wake up dehydrated, and within minutes, you become even more dehydrated. And the strange part? You feel fine. That's because caffeine also stimulates your nervous system. It creates a feeling of energy. Of alertness. So the dehydration doesn't feel like dehydration, it feels like waking up. But underneath that feeling, your blood is thicker. Your circulation is slower. Your muscles are getting less oxygen at the exact moment they need it most. This is why some people do their morning movements and still feel stiff an hour later. Still feel heavy. Still feel like their legs aren't quite responding. They fixed one part of the problem, but left the other part quietly undoing that progress. Your blood is made up of roughly 60% water. When that water level drops, even slightly, blood becomes more viscous. More resistant. Your heart has to work harder to push it through your vessels. Red blood cells, the ones carrying oxygen to every corner of your body, travel more slowly. And your leg muscles? They need that oxygen to move. To recover between movements. To stay stable and balanced throughout the day. When oxygen delivery is consistently reduced, even slightly, even temporarily, your muscles compensate. They work harder to do the same tasks. They fatigue faster. They take longer to recover. And gradually, without realizing it, you start assuming this is just age. But what if it isn't age? What if it's simply the sequence of your morning? You don't have to give up your tea or coffee. You just have to do one thing first. One glass of plain water, before anything else. Room temperature, if possible. Cold water first thing can cause your body to divert energy toward warming it, which is an unnecessary strain in the morning. Room temperature water absorbs faster. It begins thinning your blood almost immediately. Circulation starts improving right away. And then, after just a few minutes, enjoy your tea or coffee as you normally would. That small pause gives your body a head start. Over time, that head start compounds. Legs feel lighter when you stand. Movement has more ease. Energy stays more consistent throughout the day. And once you experience that difference, your body will remind you to do it. You won't need anyone else to. Now let's be honest about something. This sounds simple. But it's one of the hardest habits to shift. Not because it requires effort, but because your morning ritual carries weight. It's tied to memory, to comfort, to identity. 30 years of starting the same way, and even a small rearrangement feels wrong. Incomplete. That's why most people try it once or twice and quietly drift back. Not because they don't understand the benefit, but because understanding isn't enough on its own. What actually makes change stick is personal experience. When you feel the difference in your legs, when the stiffness is less, when standing up takes less effort, when the connection between that sequence and how your body moves becomes real to you, then it stops being advice. It becomes something you know. And knowledge built from experience is far more durable than any rule.